focus on demand patterns over time and discuss the typical market phenomena that result. Let's start with fads. Do you know what a pet rock is? We'll come to that example in a bit. A fad is generally defined as a product style or behavior that is rapidly adopted and achieves peak popularity quickly, only to decline just as fast. The key characteristic of a fad is its novelty appeal. Fads usually satisfy superficial rather than fundamental needs, suggesting that they don't have a lasting impact on society. Let me outline the key characteristics of fads. First, fads last for only weeks or months, rarely exceeding 1 year. Second, the adoption pattern is an extremely rapid rise followed by an equally swift decline. The market is usually narrow and limited to specific demographics. There's also a strong novelty factor, creating high initial excitement. Or maybe a nonsense factor, if you will, but it's still novel. But this leads to the catch, the lack of longevity. Such fad products rarely survive beyond the initial enthusiasm. You might be familiar with fads such as Labubu, Pokemon Go, and Tamagotchi. Yet the pet rock is my favorite example, hands down. It was literally just a rock in a box that was marketed as the perfect pet that required no care. I'm not sure if this is the original or a revamped version in the image, but you get the idea. It sold millions in a matter of months before disappearing completely. It made its inventor a millionaire, and rumor has it that he came up with the idea in a bar. Why did this fad take off? This happened in the 1970s, and I think it captured the zeitgeist well. People wanted a pet, but not the responsibility of taking care of one. It was also kind of funny. Besides that, the operational marketing, specifically the packaging, reminiscent of a real pet and the stone in a nest, added to its humorous appeal. Of course, this was completely unsustainable, and the fad ended after a few months. Still, unlike usual fads, it left its mark in the Oxford Dictionary, becoming associated with words such as useless and pointless. Here's the marketing insight you need to remember. While fads can generate substantial short-term revenue, businesses must recognize their temporary nature and avoid over-investing in inventory or infrastructure. The key is to capitalize quickly while the opportunity exists, yet before trying to capitalize on a fad, ask yourself if it aligns with your brand. You don't want to compromise your strategic positioning. In addition, remember that profiting from a fad requires luck, or at least the favor of the algorithm in today's environment, and thus the corresponding risk appetite. So ask yourself, if you spot a potential fad, how would you structure your business to profit from it without allocating too many resources? Would you even want to be involved in fads? Furthermore, I believe that our society has become increasingly fad-driven over time, a trend reinforced by algorithms on social media. You can think about whether this is a good thing. Let's talk about something more substantial. Trends. Unlike fads, trends are medium to long-term directions of change in consumer preferences, behaviors, or market conditions. What is the crucial difference between trends and fads? Trends reflect deeper shifts in values and lifestyle, making them more predictable and strategically significant for business planning. What are the characteristics of trends? They have a gradual rise, a sustained plateau, and then a slow decline or evolution into something else. Their market impact is broad, influencing multiple industries and demographics. Trends are rooted in evolving consumer values and societal changes. Importantly, trends offer predictability. They can be forecast through careful market analysis. Let me give you two concrete examples. First, the health and fitness movement, which emphasizes wellness, organic foods, and active lifestyle, has been sustained for decades. It's not going anywhere. In fact, it keeps evolving and strengthening. Another example is athleisure fashion, the blending of athletic and casual wear that emerged in the 2010s. For example, Lululemon built an empire on this trend. The trend has lasted much longer than anyone initially expected because it taps into fundamental lifestyle changes. Here's your marketing insight. Successful businesses align their strategies with identified trends, adapting their products and services to meet evolving customer expectations. When properly leveraged, trends offer sustainable opportunities for innovation and growth. Some food for thought. Think about this. Can you identify a current trend in your field of interest? How could you develop a business strategy based on it? Now we are taking it to the next level with megatrends. These transformative global forces reshape societies, economies, and industries worldwide. A megatrend is both large-scale and long-term. We're not talking about changes that occur in a few years, we're talking about changes that occur over decades. These powerful forces operate across generations and affect virtually every aspect of business and life. This requires strategic adaptation from all organizations. Let me walk you through the characteristics. The duration often spans multiple decades and can result in permanent changes. The scope is global, affecting all industries and societies. Megatrends have a profound influence, fundamentally transforming business models and market structures. Megatrends create new paradigms that are difficult to reverse, making them irreversible. They are also complex and are driven by multiple interconnected factors. Let me give you 3 examples of current megatrends. The first is sustainability and climate action. This global transformation encompasses renewable energy, a circular economy, and environmental responsibility. It's reshaping all industries. Second is digital transformation. The pervasive integration of digital technologies is revolutionizing communication, commerce, and daily life. Having a website is no longer enough. Businesses must reimagine how they operate in a digital world, considering recent developments such as large language models. Third is the silver society. Increasing life expectancy and aging populations are creating new consumer segments with significant purchasing power and distinct needs. Companies that understand and cater to older consumers will thrive. In many developed countries, this demographic shift is linked to the rise of a silver society, a consumer segment with significant purchasing power. Here's the critical marketing insight. Organizations must integrate megatrend analysis into strategic planning. Those who anticipate and adapt to megatrends gain a sustainable competitive advantage, while those who ignore them risk becoming obsolete. Megatrends present businesses with great challenges and opportunities. Using generative AI, I created an image of a silver society in Salzburg. While you can see the fortress and the dome, I don't believe there's a street offering this exact view. The shop names seem to be targeted toward the silver society. Anyway, question for you. Which of these megatrends do you think will have the greatest impact on your field of interest or work? We covered everything from the micro to the macro environment, including fads and megatrends. Now let me bring it all together for you. Understanding the marketing environment is an ongoing process. It's not something you do once and then move on from. Rather, it's an ongoing process of scanning, analyzing, and adapting strategically. In today's turbulent landscape, this capability is more critical than ever.